is Charmaine from Two Shabby Shoes. Thanks for joining me in the studio today. Today I'm going to show you how I create these little rose beads to go on bulb pins, on dangles for spines, in the centers of signatures, bracelets, earrings, whichever you want to do. But I'm using the waxed seal pellets, the wax burner, and this silicone mold, and some pieces of jewelry making for jewelry making. You can use the rose on chains for magnets and all kinds of purse dangles. So many fun possibilities. I've been jewelry making for a lot of years, and one of the things that you can use when you're jewelry making are these eye pins. And see, they come with a loop that is already on. You can make your own. And then there's also head pins, which have the end of them is like the head of a straight pin, and it would hold your bead and or your sequin from prevent it from falling off. And with the eye pins, you can put jump rings and make chains longer if you choose to. And when you are making jewelry, you're usually only going to be using about an inch of, depending on how big your beads are, but you're only going to be using about an inch of the 2.5 to 3 inch pin that you start with. So I've been keeping the parts that I cut off forever, and so I have lots of little scraps. And so what I will do is I will make my own double-ended eye pen with the scraps. And for years I would use 2 pair of pliers to create the loops. I would use tiny tipped, and then I would use a flatter tip just for rigidity. And then along the way they came out, well, I found that you could use the round nosed pliers, and these work really great for creating the loop on the end. So last year I was watching YouTube, and there was a lady online, and she was using this tool that is called a one-step looper, and it creates the loop for you, and it is amazing. It's all in one step. It just is fabulous. Even though you can do it with the pliers, this one step just really makes it easier. And so I'm going to use a wax burner, and so I'm going to get the wax going, and I'm going to be putting in, I'm going to put in 2 pinks and a white. I want some sort of swirly action. You can see on this one has 2 colors of pink and white in there, and I really like the variegation that has. So while the wax is heating, I'm going to go ahead and make the double-ended loop. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one of the loops inside the wax while it's hot. And I'm going to make 2 pieces of roses so that I will smash them together to create one double-sided rose. So see how fast that was? It was super duper fast, really fast. And sometimes you have to, if you're not really paying attention, which I'm really not at the moment, you might have to take the pliers and straighten them out. But all you do is you put the wire inside the mechanism, and depending on how long you want your shank to be, and then you just squeeze the handles. It will cut the wire at the same time, and depending on how long or short the wire is, it could fly across the room, so you really want to watch out for that. Then I just take the pliers and I make sure that it's flat and the loops are closed enough, because one of the things I don't want to have to do is to reopen this. I can put my jump rings right through here and not have to mess with this, because I honestly don't know how, if you put too much pressure on this, will it pop apart? I don't know what will happen. So I'm just taking extra care using the pliers to make sure that it's nice and crimped together. And these, I did get these molds from Amazon, and I ended up having to buy several different ones because the sizes on them are really iffy, and I don't know. I don't know if I order the same ones again, would they come and be the same size? And you know, I'm just a little particular about what I was looking for. I wanted a lower profile rose. Some of them are deeper, and they make a fatter rose. Like, see, here's this one right here. See how fat that one is compared to this one? I just prefer it to be flatter. And that's a personal preference. So, you know, whichever one that comes to your door if you order through Amazon, or you might even have some in your stash. These are silicone molds are I think they're originally used to make sugar flowers for wedding cakes and parties and things like that. They just have a really nice little dainty thing. But because it's silicone, you can use it for just about anything you're looking for. All right, so I think my wax is done, and I'm going to go ahead and pour into the mold. So you don't want to overfill. And if you do, it's okay, because when you smash the second one on top of it, it's going to squish out a little bit, which is fine. We'll just take the wire nippers and cut it off just to clean it up around the edge a little bit. So don't worry about if that happens. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in, trying not to overfill it. And, you know, if you do, it's okay. It's not gonna be a problem. And so then I'm going to put my, if you've underfilled it, you just swirl it around, fill in the shape of the rose, and then add a little bit more wax. Not a big deal. So I'm going to put this right here on the edge, and my needle nose pliers have magnetic in them, so I just stick my finger on there. Just be careful not to put your finger in the wax, because it is hot wax. Like, you know, if you've ever burned yourself with hot glue, it does stick to you immediately and burn. And I'm just using a stick pin that I made to do this with, and then, you know, it just comes right off of the middle. And then I will wipe the spoon on the side of my the silicone mold, and then when it's dry, it peels right off, and then I'll just put it right back into the spoon and keep remelting it. And while this is cooling, I'm going to go ahead and take this off of the burner, because I think what's happening is it is getting hot and cooking, and it's changing the colors of my pellets before I get them into my mold. I'm kind of particular about my pinks, but as this is drying, the loop is going to want to sink in. So as it's drying, if you just give it a little tap to make sure that it's laying flat, so when we make our second one and put it on top, put this on top of it, you have a nice flat, even ring for the center of your bead. The wax seals, I think, were really popular in the 70s when, you know, we used to write letters and you wanted to seal them, and they're making a comeback in the junk journals, and I think it's just fabulous. But these are what the wax seals look like, and you can change the you can buy there's just thousands of different designs you can buy, and you just screw it onto the end. And normally what you would do would be then to pour it onto your envelope or your lace or your piece of paper, whichever you're going to seal. I've even seen them done at weddings for the bride and groom's initials. But then you just press the seal into the wax, and it will basically glue the two pieces together, if that's what you're looking for. You can make them in advance and hot glue them onto your projects. But if you don't like the way the project comes out, all you have to do is cut this up and put it back into the spoon and remelt it. Okay, so can you see just how pretty that came out? That came out really pretty. Let's see if I don't know, I'm gonna use this ornament and see, it's sort of flesh toned. So let's see, can it, and I can't see my screen on the cameras to know if this is actually in frame or is it even focusing on there. So I apologize if it's not focusing, but it's so sweet, such a sweet little thing. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pull, and put this back on to the flame and get it warmed back up. It does only take a minute to start setting up. So, but I really think that I'm cooking them too long. If anybody knows some tips and tricks with not overcooking your pellets, that would be awesome, because it is changing the color of my wax just a little bit. And if you stir your colors together, you'll get lighter, or depending on if you put a gray and or a gold, you would get swirly golds, or you could just keep mixing and have, if you know anything about color theory, you would get a lighter color, or even if you used, you know, the red and blue, you could get purple. So, all right, I think we look good. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. And again, try not to overfill. I do want it to be full, but not overly done. Okay, and then you can tilt it again so that it fills in to the shape of the rose. And now I'm going to take the pliers and I'm going to try to match up the petals of my rose as best as I can. And then I'm going to give this a good smush and a hold. And because the wax, when it actually doesn't even feel like wax, like a regular candle wax. It's not like that at all. It almost feels like a soft plastic once it's dried, but it definitely, you know, it's bendable. I think you could even quickly use a like a heat gun to reheat this, to mold it around something like an ornament or something. If you had a glass, and you can mold it around there to give it a curve so you could glue it on a round surface. But it only takes a second for this to cool down. I'm going to get this off the flame again and see. The eye pins and the head pins, they come in different colors. You can see some of the things I have out here. I've got silver, and I've got a dark gray and a regular gold, and then I have a rose gold. You can really get, I think you can even get them in like metallic greens and blues and things like that, if that was suited for your project. I think this should be just about done. There we go. Yep. Oh, and it slid. Okay, so that one didn't work. I didn't put it on there. I need to stop running my yap, because while I'm talking, it is hardening and not creating the seal. So you see, I just peeled that right apart. So if that should happen, which I've done it before, so not all is lost. You can definitely reuse it. I'm going to go ahead and stop talking for a second and get this one on and in place. And I can see that I have overfilled it, so it's going to be extra messy. All right, I'm just going to squish it and cut it off later. All right, so I'm just going to let that do its thing. I'm going to take that off the burner, blow the candle out, because I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be making another one. All right, so I think this is going to be dry enough to pull out. Definitely. And so I'm just going to take the little nippers and just cut out the smush. This one definitely got a better seal. And reshape it to the rose, because the extra wax that comes out has caused it to not look so much like a rose shape anymore. But I'm not putting any pressure on this. It's less pressure than it takes to cut your nails. You could probably just use a little pair of scissors to do this. These are just what I have here, and it's so cute. And I will get my high-powered glasses out and clean this up more before I actually put it on a project. But there it is. Sorry about there seems to be some shadowing going on in here. There is the double-sided rose. So you can use it on anything you want to. Isn't that cute? Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I did. Have a good day, and thanks again for joining me. Bye.